Hello everyone, this is Caleb from Cosmic Hat Games with another Duels of Fortune character showcase. Strap on your white belts and get excited, because today we'll be taking a look at the bumbling yet high-spirited karate student, DERRICK Stone. DERRICK is a wacky, unpredictable fighter who makes up for his mediocre karate skills with a wide assortment of random items he can pull during a match. Each item has different uses and effects, forcing both you and your opponents to react on the fly to whatever you happen to get your hands on. While DERRICK doesn't necessarily rely on these items to win, they can be a big help in controlling the stage and putting the pressure on your opponent. It's game on! As always, let's start by demonstrating DERRICK's command normals. First of all, when you have an item in your hand, you can press forward light to throw it. This is technically a universal command, as items similar to DERRICK's can also appear as hazards on certain stages, but it's important to mention here nonetheless. As the dedicated item character, however, DERRICK does have a more versatile way to throw items that we'll cover later. But this input remains the quickest way to toss out whatever you're holding. DERRICK's jumping down heavy is drop the ball. DERRICK curls up into a ball as he falls to the ground. When this move hits the opponent or the floor, it'll normally cause DERRICK to bounce back. If you hold forward as the move connects, however, DERRICK will instead bounce forward. This forward bounce is slightly harder to execute due to the extra directional input, but it opens up a number of extra possibilities. Just bounce whichever way suits you best at the moment. And DERRICK's dashing down forward heavy is hairstyle scissor kick. One of Master Lox's special techniques, though DERRICK hasn't quite mastered it yet, so he just ends up falling over on his back. Thankfully for him, his fumble still manages to make for a useful attack, providing DERRICK an alternative way to jump cancel and start an air combo. Moving up to the next level, let's dig into DERRICK's special moves. DERRICK's neutral special is Pocket Dust. DERRICK throws out a handful of rock dust in front of him. A fast but low-range attack that can help extend combos and potentially stop an opponent who's getting too close for comfort. When used in the air, the dust will be thrown at a downward angle. Much like his fellow student Shoto, DERRICK can use a different move when holding neutral special instead of just pressing it. In his case, that move is Dust Ball, a slow-moving projectile attack that can hit up to 3 times. It's perfect for controlling space, juggling a launched opponent, and just generally being a nuisance. Similar to Pocket Dust, this move will also travel at a downward angle when used in the air. A ball of dust might not sound all that threatening, but don't sleep on it, as it's one of the most important tools in DERRICK's moveset. DERRICK's back special is, well, the DERRICK Special. Special in heavy air quotes though, as all he does is flail his arms around before falling flat on his face. Not that that doesn't make for an effective attack. Not only does DERRICK run forward while hitting all around him, but the act of falling on his face at the end will hit low. And on top of that, you can also press up at any point before the last hit to perform a follow-up attack, Flailing Flight, which instead hits overhead. That makes this move a built-in mix-up, albeit one that's not too hard to see coming. You can also use this move in the air, which will cause DERRICK to dive to the ground while flailing. Overall, this is a powerful move that sees lots of use in combos and pressure. And DERRICK's down special is Junk Pull. DERRICK randomly pulls an item from his pocket. There are 10 possible items DERRICK can pull, each of which have completely different speeds, projectile arcs, and effects, so you'll have to pay attention to which one you get to know how to best use it. Once you have an item in your hand, you can either throw it with forward light, as mentioned earlier, or you can use DERRICK's special item throw, Junk Toss, which requires pressing down special again while holding an item. This special throw is a bit slower, but allows you to choose the angle you want to throw your item at, which can be incredibly useful for certain items. You can also simply hold down the special button while pulling an item to immediately use Junk Toss as soon as possible. As for the items themselves, we won't go over all of them in this video, but here's what just a handful of these wacky projectiles can do. The baseball is a straightforward but fast-moving projectile. The hammer creates a shockwave when it hits the ground that bounces the opponent into the air if they're close enough. The banana is sure to cause some classical slapstick comedy once it's on the ground. The energy drink isn't a projectile at all, but in fact will grant a small meter gain buff to whoever grabs it first. And the dog treat, if it hits the floor, will summon DERRICK's faithful dog Rocky to charge across the screen. DERRICK's items can be great for putting on pressure and causing chaos, but be aware that you can normally only have one item on screen at a time. Depending on the type of item that's active, it'll either be destroyed when pulling a new one, or will prevent you from pulling any new items until it goes away on its own. It's also worth noting that your opponent can pick up some of your items themselves and throw them right back at you. Keep the downsides in mind, but don't underestimate the power that DERRICK's items can hold. Finally, we're in the endgame. Let's clear this showcase by taking a look at DERRICK's super moves. Derrick's neutral super is Panic Button. Derrick gets scared and ducks for cover, only for a giant rock to form behind him. It seems even Derrick doesn't really know what happened. While this super sports average damage, it's also true to its name, as it provides a brief period of full invincibility upon activating it. It can be used to get yourself out of a tight situation, or in the usual way as a high damage combo ender. Just be aware of how vulnerable you are if you happen to miss. And Derrick's down super is Trash to Treasure. This is an install super that enhances all of Derrick's items for a short time. Every item gets enhanced in a unique way, from the baseball being able to bounce a few times before landing, to the hammer now causing an electric paralysis effect on hit. During the install, you're now also allowed 3 items on screen at a time instead of just 1, letting you go absolutely nuts with your newly empowered arsenal. For a brief time, you practically own the entire stage. If you already have an item in your hand before activating the super, you'll immediately receive the enhanced version of that item. Otherwise, it'll grant you a random enhanced item just like pulling one normally. This is a potentially incredibly powerful super that can let your item game go off the rails. But like with Derrick's normal items, you'll still have to manage whatever you get out of it to make sure the opponent doesn't benefit from it instead. Or, you can just spam items and hope for the best, if you're feeling lucky. Whatever suits you. Use Derrick's unpredictable items and strong space controlling tools to cause mayhem and get the upper hand in neutral. Pressure the opponent with all you've got, and string together long combos using your advancing moves and the many tools available to you in the air. While it can be a bit tricky to get your offense going as Derrick, and he's lacking in meterless defensive options, his unique fighting style houses much more hidden strength than he lets on. It's up to you to give it your all and bring out that strength. Just like Derrick, don't ever give up on your dreams. That's all for today's showcase. If you like what you see, you can play the game right now through the links in the video description. You can also follow us on Twitter or join the Discord community to keep up with the game's development. We hope you look forward to trying out Derrick and to more showcase videos like this one. Thank you so much for watching.